Okay, hey everybody, we are back. We are into the home stretch here. Two more games from Niagara Falls. The players have eaten lunch. We have eaten lunch. Matthew, and you're joining me once again. Thank you so much for the last two games of the day. We caught four before lunch, and we're going to finish it off hopefully with two great games. First, Heidi going up against Vera Bigal. Should be a good matchup between these two.
Yeah, very close in rating, and I'm sure they played each other a bunch of times, so should be a very evenly matched game. And with that tough morning, I think Heidi's probably not in the running for a cash prize, but she's still plus on rating and has a chance to come away with a decent rating gain for the weekend if she can pull out one or two of these last two games.
Yeah, I think it says a lot that she is still up a decent chunk of rating despite going 0 and 4 this morning, and all four of those games felt like they were within reach and that she played pretty well overall. Just maybe the tiniest little adjustment here or there, or tile here or there. And oh boy, kind of cool set of tiles here. I'm sure she's going to see okay. Before we could even finish the word, Matthew, I don't think she'll get a place to play it, but good
Yeah,
spot by her.
good rack to be going first with, but she is second, so she'll have to work with a more congested board.
Yep. Um, where to? I mean, maybe she's just looking at playing Fizz here, unless.
She's got a really good play available here. There is one standout.
Oh, Hafiz, yeah,
There you go.
Hafiz. So, got to be careful not to autopilot just playing FIZ because the BH combination. If I change my color here, BH not the best combination to leave on the rack for next turn. So if you have an option to rid one of the two, it's a good idea. Not to mention you get 13 extra points because it puts the H on the triple letter square. So the play we're hoping to be spotted is right here. I feel like I've missed this one before in my career though, Matthew.
I'm sure we all have. It's not obvious looking for a five-letter word that ends in Z, and I guess it's not obvious to her either. That's understandable. Fizz is actually the second best play, but as you can imagine, quite a bit far behind.
Yeah, getting those extra points and ridding yourself of the H or B, one of those two. In this case, it would have been the H. A little bit better, but let's see what she gets. Vera is going to play. I can't tell whether it's Brew. Oh, Broad. Maybe. There we go. Broad. Okay. Solid score, but of course, the immediate thought that I have is it opens up this triple. However, I don't quite see that there's a really easy play that Heidi has, starting with a vowel that goes into this triple. Maybe there is one that I'm not spotting yet.
So it opens up the triple. It also opens up a front hook, which is a good
Oh,
avenue for scoring points because you can get those two triple letter scores. There's a few plays that hit both of those with heavy consonants. So that's actually where you're going to score points in this turn. Also note that Hafiz is still available for 32.
true. You could just see it now. That would be kind of funny to see her realize that and just plop the H down. But Jelamoka says Kane. I also see Becca, right? Bekah, which might be nice to get rid of the B, leaving just AN. Maybe that's a little bit better for bingoing. Either of those two plays look essentially equivalent, but they are also very weird Collins
Mm-hmm.
only fives. So I could definitely see something like Hake be played here instead. And frankly, that does look like a reasonable and more findable alternative.
Yeah, and there's even one more, Banak, Banak, possibly the best of the bunch, but these are all Collins only words. They're all kind of strange looking fives. Unfortunately, there's no easy words that hook abroad that aren't a big sacrifice. Something like Hank or Bank, possibly. Um,
She might
but
be getting.
otherwise,
She's
yeah,
thinking about Ba though, maybe.
Okay, I would definitely be looking to unload that K. It's kind of the unwieldiest tile.
Yeah. Banak, I didn't actually spot that one. Shout out to Billy Nakamura, who goes by Binac. Um, but yeah, the I think Billy's competing in the NWL division of this tournament, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember.
Sounds about right. I think I saw him on the list.
Yeah. Um, my initial thought was that BEKAH might be better just to keep the two bingo tiles together, but the board isn't really very good for bingoing. So, especially after, well, hold on. This is kind of a word knowledge thing too, Matthew, because I think abroad
Mhm.
actually does take an S in Collins.
Mhm.
So if you were to draw an S, that's going to become an interesting one of do the players know that and are they willing to try it if it comes up?
And that word is kind of the bane of my Collins existence. It comes up in my car box when I type aboards. I'm like, oh, next time I'll remember. And the next day it comes up in my car box. I'm like, is it a broads or a boards? I type
Yeah,
aboards and
we must
so
all have words like that. I think one of those for me is unframed.
unframed
Um,
or unfarmed.
yeah, because there are other words like that. I can't seem to wrap my mind around it, even though I think I did just say it correctly there. She's oh, interesting. Just ache here. So I wonder if she just didn't think about the A hook of abroad, and if she isn't thinking about that hook at all, she's probably instead looking for plays that play down to that middle triple because she wants to uh, prevent Vera from playing there. So maybe she'll think of the A hook. Ooh, now she has a tricky well, she's got two bingos here actually of Thebane and Beething to the G of
Uh,
frag. So there's a couple, but I would say both of those are not gimmies. Those are ones you can't really get with your natural word knowledge, Matthew.
yeah, it's certainly not bee thing. I assume that's a Collins only word. I have no idea what that word means.
Yeah, it is.
Um, to another Spencer gem. But Thebain, yeah, that's one you're either gonna know from studying lots of words, or I assume it's a chemistry word. Um, so we'll see if she's gotten that far in her study. She hasn't lined it up yet.
Yeah, for sure. Tough ones. Oh, I guess Vera did exchange. Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw. I guess you're on it. Because I saw tiles in this part of the screen a moment ago, which I thought maybe would represent an exchange. So all right, she's gonna play Ba. If you're not seeing those bingos, um, this actually looks like a really nice play. If you cannot, pull those out of either your memory banks or out of the ether if you've never seen those words. This is kind of nice. The reason I like it, you keep the T in reserve to play bot if you draw it, and also you keep IN to play into the G of frag if you draw an ING word there. So it seems reasonable to me.
Probably the best play that's not a bingo. So yeah, like you said, if you're not gonna see the bingo, still do the best you can. And this sets up the T, and like you said, the IN into the G, very important as well.
Yeah, for sure. She draws XU, which is not ideal in her quest to get a bingo down. Doesn't look like the X plays very productively here. Maybe Vera will try to do something. It feels like Vera almost has to open the board somehow, no matter what she plays. How can she even play anything that doesn't open something? As Heidi sets up Nixture.
Mm.
Close but no cigar.
Another thing about Ba is where's Vera gonna play this turn? She doesn't have an S to hook frag. There's not a lot of spots on this board.
Yeah, very
Maybe you
tricky
can
board.
extend Ake somehow, like to a Kayla.
It's mentioned in the chat that you could even extend it with NE for
Mm.
Akin. She has the N and the E there. Maybe not something she would want to do with this nice closed board position holding a lead. But yeah, we'll see. This is a tough position for Vera to play almost no matter what she has, as long as it's not a bingo with an S in it, like you said, for frags. I'm curious if Vera has an A when she plays, if she plays abroad. That would certainly be an easy place to play if Vera has an A and is thinking about that. Are we going to see sort of a head slap from Heidi and instead just caw for 10? um, Interesting. That's a little, I would be a little bit like, uh oh, if I saw this one, Matthew.
So Ka is another A setup that takes an A in the back, I believe. So that tile, again, the most important tile on the board that's not an S, because it will enable a couple of hooks. But how does Heidi respond? Does she try to defend against bingos? Is that even possible?
I have no idea what you're supposed to do here.
Man, there's another hook to ba that I completely forgot about. Or, I know this word, but I don't know if I
Bahu,
can.
that's
Bahu.
right. Bahu.
You can play Uniter there all the way to the double word score.
I mean, it might be about as good as you can do here, playing something like Uniter and Bahu. It would be nice to keep the T somehow because you would then have Bahut, right? This word with a U also takes a T hook, so if you could somehow play across keeping the T, I don't think there's a really good way to do that. Something like urine is not advised. Okay.
It's just that Vera's play is so fishy. All of these plays we're considering, they open up huge S hooks into the triple. So maybe this is actually an Akin turn, just because it doesn't float those easy S hooks. It does float an E, but I don't know if there's any play you can make here that doesn't give something back.
Yeah, I mean the thing about floating the E is that you could potentially read this play from Vera as I've got an S, I'm really close to bingoing, and maybe the E doesn't really make that much of a difference to her. So if you play a keen, you're scoring well. Maybe she's just gonna play a bingo ending in S or with an a 7-letter word with an A hook of Kawa or abroad. The E doesn't do anything to help her, but you get a bunch of points on this turn. Um, so I'm gonna guess that Akeen being a very tricky word. Interesting suggestion by Jello Mochas of Izar and Rake. She definitely knows those two words. Another S hook on the board, but could be okay. And she's just going to play Ruing for lack of a better option. This does set up a place where if she draws well enough, she could cash her X here. Oh, she's going to play Truing. Can you spell this word that way?
I assume so. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
Uh,
okay. I figured, but interesting. So that's this is a cool idea. Actually, putting the T on makes it tougher for her to actually cash that X, like I said. Um, but maybe it's fine. Maybe you can just hope that if she plays through here, oh, just gonna get Fa. Okay, that's kind of a reprieve. See what she draws here. Decently. Could we get Exponent? You get something even better. Guess we'll find out. Last two letters are AS. All right, that's a pretty good draw overall.
Spansor, is that a word? No.
What's that?
No. I saw something that was not a word.
Oh, um, yeah, I don't think there's. Where is a good way to use the X here? It's not immediately obvious. I guess now with such a nice draw, you could just play. If she has to know Kawa, but if she does that, she could play something like that and play Pax. Jelamoka is just suggesting that. Scary thing here is that Kawau is also a word, but there's not much that can be done with that. In fact, given that you need vowels to play in this spot and this spot, there's really no way to overlap that super strong.
Yeah, if
Uh,
if we really think she has an S, can you afford to set that spot up? That's giving back 50 points almost every time if she has an S.
Yeah, it's a good point. Maybe the safest in that case is to just play OX here, cut off access to this spot, and keep your own S, which plays in a number of spots. Let's see, what is she going to do? Asp. Okay. So this feels like I think the S is valuable enough here that I think again, kind of similar to the Z situation in one of these previous games, you would want to maybe see the X come down and keep that good S containing leave. She has not hit her clock yet. She has a chance to sort of think of this. She's shaking her head no, but her instinct is we'll see what she does. Up, a little bit of the slow roll. She hits it. Okay. I definitely feel like Ox would have been my play, keeping the nice Pains leave, just because not only does it have an A to potentially play with Kawa, you've got that S. It's going to be hard to stop the Aches hook if you draw a 7-letter bingo there. So let's hope she doesn't regret using that S too early and maybe draws some help for that X, Matthew.
Yeah, and I would say this is a pretty clear indication that she's not seeing the A hook on Ka. Otherwise, you spend the A or you hold on to it, even though it gives back Kawa's, would give you some pause there. But
Yeah, I do think I agree. We probably see a play there. I guess it's not. It definitely feels like Vera is going to have an S here more often than usual after a play like Kaw, for sure. But you could get lucky and dodge it, in which case, if you're Heidi, you have an S in reserve that you can use. So she's going to play Rock and Rasp. Again, I feel like probably Heidi would have wanted to play her X right here. Now that spot is nowhere near as lucrative to use. So what to do here? Hard to see a great place for her to dump that X at this point, which is one of the issues with keeping it for
I think
multiple
you
turns.
just jettison it here. It doesn't even have to be a. So you've got Gox through the O and Rock, and that scores 20. Um, Not a great score, but on this board, there's not a lot of scores available. So take that. You've got a balanced leave that maybe you can work into something within a turn or two.
Yeah, worth noting that the rest of the tiles here, if she were to play that GOX clone, this leave probably matures into 7-letter words ending in E a decent amount of the time. And then you get your bingo down. So there is this spot where you can play something with a key. However, the follow up counterplay could be disastrous if you really think Vera has that S. So maybe that's sort of a Pyrrhic victory if you get your bingo with an ending in an E. Yeah, it plays, but at what cost? Okay, she goes a little bit safer. I agree with you that Gox might be a little better just to keep the leave more balanced, but I'm glad to see her get rid of this.
Yeah, that X is kind of turned into an albatross on this rack. Um, it's not helping her at this point, so better to just get rid of it.
So off it comes. She could use a vowel
G and a P.
GP as the need for. As soon as I express the need for a vowel, down comes GP and Joe for Vera. So despite some of these clunky early struggles for Heidi, she's going to be winning by a small margin after Vera's play before her turn. So she still is in decent command here. So she can just, maybe try to breathe and realize it's all right. It's been a weird start to the game. The board is definitely in an odd shape, and she's going to play Clog. This seems almost forced, Matthew.
I don't really see anything else she can do. She's got to work through these consonants one way or another. She doesn't have any scoring plays available, so it is what it is. She can do much worse. And like you said, she's still in the lead.
Yeah. Exchanging maybe. But let's see what she can draw now. Okay, the I. You got ing together. Oh, there we go. Okay. So now we're in business with some good stuff. And what does she see? So we she had a very similar rack to this in earlier in the tournament, in fact, where I don't remember what she played. Okay, opening. She sees that on the rack. I don't know if that's gonna fit anywhere either. Maybe Vera
Yeah,
gives her something. Who knows?
she's gonna have to need Vera to give her something because right now there's no playable bingos. The best she can do is going to be that Akeem play that we've mentioned a couple times.
Oh, that would be great now, yeah.
She can extend Ka with ing, not really a word you can be 100% sure of.
Are we gonna get the opening? No, we will not. Just hick up there. Um, this is interesting though because if there really is no bingo available, this does create a way for Heidi to play nice overlaps here that also open this part of the board. But I do worry that after all these short plays from Vera, she could be ready to pounce on an opening like that. But maybe that's okay.
Yeah, so she can make an opening like NEP, making CHE and LIP. It scores 31, keeps ing blank. It opens up some spots to score parallel to NEP as well as a bingo lane. But it's hard to say what Vera has. Like, we've put her on a bingo rack for so long, but it doesn't seem that it's materialized into anything. So maybe it's gone up in smoke at this point. But
Yeah.
I think I like Nep or Akeen. Akeen is nice because it only opens up bingo lanes, doesn't really open up too much else.
Yeah, I do think you can afford to make an aggressive opening here as well. Just knowing that with the blank in hand, if you draw well enough, you could be in one of those situations where either you've got a bingo here or here. That's kind of what you would like to engineer in this situation. Um, so, yeah, it is fair to ask the question that Evan is asking, where would you actually fit an ing bingo? I should note, I mean, if you look at the time, this is getting pretty dire already. There's more than half of the game to go, and Heidi is under half of her clock. It is worth mentioning that she's probably thinking, do I have a bingo right now with Nape, right? Like, there's definitely a possibility that you're missing something, which you'd hate to do. So, yeah, there's a lot to consider here. Um, I'm probably fine playing NEP, though it definitely concerns me that not only can overlaps hit pretty hard here, a lot of overlaps to LIP, including AEO in addition to S. Um, Seems like it's worth it. It looks like she has it set up here. She's laughing, probably saying, like, oh, God, am I really doing this? But that actually seems somewhat warranted here.
Yeah, and although there's no spot on this board to fit a bingo ending in ing, like the lead of ing blank has a ton of synergy outside of words that end in ing. So that rack will still have a high chance of bingoing, hooking ache or in this new lane that she's making, or something hooking nap. So I don't mind nap. I kind of want to see what happens if she does it. Probably if she does see cawing, that might be safer.
She might be having doubts in the validity of NEP, and if she does, she could just play Pen there for not super many fewer points. Uh oh, what do we got here? Just Ang. Okay, interesting. So this is way fewer points than playing parallel, but she might be a little spooked by Vera's previous plays and just doesn't want to open the triple so aggressively. I still think it's probably worth. Wow, and look at that. Vera instantly playing Love, LUV, weak, weak tiles. Um, and all right, let's see. The Y, not the best draw, but maybe there is something here. I'm not seeing it
That
immediately.
L that Vera just floated might be
Oh,
a
yeah,
boon.
right. Princely. I bet you she can probably come up with a word like that. Um, so yeah, let's see. There are okay people pointing out some good stuff. Not sure where she's going with that. I think if she does take a moment to think about the ly situation at the top of the board, she might be able to come up with this bingo just through pure anagramming skill. Unripely also available up there. Up, I think. Oh, it's almost there. I feel like she's as close as she came so close to arranging one or both of the words that we were talking about there, Matthew.
Yeah, that L up there, it's kind of a sneaky lane. It doesn't look like the most promising spot for a bingo, but that is where two of her three bingos play. So she's probably looking at other spots first and overlooking that L.
Frankly, if you're not going to bingo, this is a pretty good play to make, although I probably would want to see Yip here, keeping the E in reserve for Lipe, right? Then you would have a hook that you could potentially play down. But this scores a lot of points for a non bingo. So if you're going to miss it, this is a decent option.
Yeah, I mean, this is the most natural play other than, Yip to keep the E on your rack. So I like her chances of hitting something, but I think Princely is within her range of plays that she could find here.
The clock is probably also playing a big role at this
Oh
point.
wow.
If she
Yeah.
looks over there, she probably realizes I've got this blank. The blank is the biggest, time leeching tile in the game. Have to go through all those possibilities. So if I have a good non bingo play now, I can't see the bingo immediately. I probably can play this knowing it's not going to be that much worse than most of the bingos I have. And there we go. We redraw the E. Ugh. Erosion, though, and other
I think
stuff here. Oh,
this will be good enough.
Moonier, yeah, Moonier definitely fits up there. If she remembers Chem, I'm sure she does. So this will fit. That would be huge for her to
Well,
get that down.
erosion fits with CHER.
Oh, erosion here. That would
Mhm.
be killer. Oh my god. This is a Collins word. Share. Sunny only valid in English, North American lexicon. I guess everything is English, though. Some could debate that. Um, cool. So it seems pretty. Well, I mean, this is definitely very overlappable, right? So I feel like Vera has a great chance of having something that's going to play here for a lot of points. So
Jeez.
she needs a backup play for sure. I would say, Matthew.
There is one backup play if Vera takes that spot. There's one bingo that fits elsewhere on the board.
Only one.
Yeah. Nothing fits hooking Ake.
Oh my god. I mean, I definitely have to assume that this is going to get blocked one way or another. How could it not, right? Even there's just so many overlaps that fit there. So you got to find. If I'm in her shoes right now, I'm thinking to myself, all right, this is likely to be blocked, and it's not.
Yeah, there's not that many letters that go after CHE, I suppose. Like the R, but it's not a for sure thing that she knows that hook. So, big
Huh.
break for Heidi.
So yeah, spot stays open. The only question now is how many points. Oh, she sees the good one. This
Uh,
feels all right to me, Matthew. The S hook on this is a little scary looking, but you get so many extra points with this, and it's really the downside is somewhat limited. I feel.
yeah, this is impressive because CHER, that's Collins only four, kind of a weird word. Doesn't take an S, I believe. It's an adjective. Um, we'll see if she gets a +5 from this because it's possible that Vera could have made this hook herself last turn.
Yeah, I would definitely, in Vera's shoes, if I'm not a million percent sure of all those words for that big of a score, I would consider challenging, but she doesn't appear, there's no indication of it, and all those words are valid, so it would be a good decision not to challenge. Now we just have to see. I mean, things are not completely out of the woods, right? If Vera has an S, which we really think she does, she could just plop something down here for a very large score, and now you can see the Q. Oh, that's a horrible rack to have the Q. This is a bad draw.
We could be seeing yet another rack where we're hoping she spots the Akeen extension, which that word has been coming up again and again.
It's coming up a lot for sure. And no S at all. Oh, is this going to turn into. Oh my God. Just tile. That's crazy. Heidi with a throwing her head back laugh at how unfortunate that is. I'm pretty sure I could read this if I'm in her shoes that Vera does not have an S here. Why not play nils?
Yeah, you can almost guarantee she's probably got a duplicate I, maybe a duplicate E, and all one pointers and just letters that don't bingo. So very unfortunate for Vera. That's the best she can do.
Yeah. Interesting point too in the chat that Akeen, in addition to the virtue of scoring nicely and undoubling the ends and not keeping three E's, it has that merit of what is the losing pathway here. If you're Heidi, it's probably allowing a bingo with a key that sets up an S you don't have.
She found it.
Oh, there we go. Very
Yeah,
nice. All right. So, not sure if that
that's
just occurred to her or what, but that seems like a really nice play to cut that possibility off before it happens with the key setup plays.
yeah, that's a critical play to find. I think it seems like such a small thing now, but that is Vera's best path back into the game. Even if it's not hooking a key, but just that's the easiest spot on the board to fit a seven hooking aches. Well, I guess there's that new column on the far right.
No help whatsoever for that Q. She's up by a lot, so she can withstand taking a turn to exchange. If there does become a place to play the Q, she can dump it for low scores, or she can try to play off all those other letters and try to draw one of the two U's. Yeah, now she can play something with bot and block off the E a little bit better. Tenter being suggested through the N of a keen, which turns 5 tiles and also blocks this E quite a bit. I like that play a lot. She has it set up. She
Enter, I
probably.
think, is the only thing worth playing here other than exchanging. You don't like exchanging when you have a lead like this, but there's just nothing going on this board, and you kind of want to wait for Vera to open up something for you.
Yeah, and I mean, Vera has every incentive to open something here. The annoying thing is that this lane is super flexible for a 7, and this could definitely hit pretty hard. Hey, Cyberquad, nice to see you. I mean, this spot is very difficult to block and score. Even plays here don't really fully block it. So this 7's lane is definitely Vera's lifeline here if she can get a high scoring bingo in that spot. And Heidi can't do much about it. So, yeah.
So Tenter at least gives you a two-turn sequence where you can eventually block that, because it's not going to block that lane right away, but then on the turn following Tenter, you can play above or below the R to reach across there and take that line out.
Yeah, nice. That's definitely reasonable. You do have to, I guess, redraw an E after that, as you are using both E's when you play Tenter, but there are a bunch out there that you can pluck to maybe make that follow-up blocking play. So, Vera mercifully taking a little bit of time here so Heidi can gather her thoughts and consider what she might want to do, whether Tenter or exchanging.
Yeah,
And
she still has to make a lot of plays in
oh, are we getting
six
a?
minutes.
Was that the brightness? Oh, Vera is
Ooh,
showing us what she has.
yeah.
What was it?
I see like Toeiest with a blank
Toeiest.
S.
Yeah,
Yeah, she's
Toeiest,
got
right?
Toeiest.
So that plays right here.
That's the only seven that she has, and she has one other bingo, which is Teosinte through the N in Akeem.
Teosinte, tough. Um, very, very tough. You have to think of bot as well. So, um, tough finds. That's a if she spots one of those bingos, kudos to Vera for that. But if she doesn't, I feel kind of good about this situation if you're Heidi because you can either play Tenter and increase your lead. Like whatever Vera plays here with that rack, if it's not a bingo, it's not going to score anything at all. So Heidi will be able to likely score as much or better with Tenter, or exchange and the eventual bingo that Vera plays just won't even put that much of a dent in her lead potentially.
Yeah, if Vera doesn't see her bingos, then all of her candidate plays are hooking the T on bat. And if she doesn't see that, she has nothing. Like she's looking at 8 point plays or exchanges. So I can see why she's spending her time.
Yeah, definitely a inflection point. I'm sure the fact that the context clue of her taking the rack and showing it to the camera, to me that sort of implies like, god, I can't see anything. I wish all you out there watching on Twitch could help me. Here's what I have if you want to look along with me, that kind of thing.
And I
So,
can feel some frustration, even though all we've seen from Vera is her hands. I can
yeah.
feel that emotion coming from her plays.
Yeah, how could she not be a little frustrated? Seems like there should be something, and there is, but it happens that the words she has are a pretty high degree of difficulty to find. Um, Toeiest, it just looks very awful as a word. So, yeah, just not one. I mean, that's kind of the luck of the draw, Matthew. Sometimes the words that you have to find are ones that your natural anagramming ability can get you to, and then other times it's only really studying the dictionary that can get you to those words.
Yeah, I mean, there's different kinds of luck in this game. Some of it is drawing good tiles, but some of it is drawing the words that you know. So in this case, you have a bingo, but if it happens to be one that you don't know or you haven't studied, then that's not, it's not great luck. You want to draw something that you're more familiar with. So it looks like she missed the T hook on Bath, and that is why she had very limited options on this turn.
Yeah. So this is interesting. After that play, only 5 points for Vera on that play of 10, if I can remember to flip the board for everybody here. So, all right. So Heidi exchanging just QT, I think, probably correctly realizing that if Vera does not hit a bingo on this row, she is a huge favorite to do so. Um, and, ooh, what did she actually draw, if anything? I'm not seeing anything yet. It looks like a great. This looks fantastic, but how could she not have anything here? Termin is not a word.
Yeah, the exchange, it's definitely the equity play, but you pretty much know that Vera has a blank if she didn't like outright admit it. Um, I wonder if you just play down from that E and tile for anything, even just like tent, just to get some letters down and obstruct that lane. Because the E and a keen is now obstructed. So she's left that open, and now Vera has some life.
Now, if Vera redraws the Q, she could play Chi here, but I think if Heidi doesn't bingo, she's very likely to. Heidi almost has remittent. Is that not a. Does she. No, she doesn't have two T's. That would be kind of fun. Not a good play, of course. I think I would definitely be wanting to just play something alongside Toluide and sort of have faith that the board is now very closed. There are not that many realistic options. Yeah, there is an E here. You could get hit with an 8 through this. Um, Maybe that's enough where you just want to play MEE and keep the board totally closed for bingos. I would worry a little bit about Chi evening the game quite a bit and representing a huge, safety valve for Vera if she has a Q and you just threw it back. So,
Yeah, ME kind of shuts the door on the last real bingo lane on this board, which is through that E. Um, so you might just have to do that. QI is a risk, but Heidi is still favored after QI. She'll be up by over 50. So she just needs to keep pace, maybe spot that A hook and caw, and she
yeah,
can outrun.
Yeah, it makes sense. When you look at it on the board, if you think about this, it's going to score pretty well. Then if you give Vera credit for Chi, Heidi is still winning on a completely dead board. So instead, she's going to play minted. This definitely has some merit to it as well. Scoring nicely. Um, QIS still would be playable on top here. Whoops. So that's something to watch out for. Um, but yeah, you would just hate to see. I feel like it would be so snake bitten if you see a bingo come down here through this E. That would be devastating. Let's see what she gets. All right, no Q. I guess that's the best that you can say about this. Not the best draw, but fine, I think.
Yeah, the W scores points. You can do worse than that.
So yeah, this will be interesting to see what Vera does. I think the worst case scenario is certainly the 8 to E, but an also not great scenario is just QIS right here, cutting the gap quite a bit. Now you have to worry a little bit that any miracle bingos from Vera are actually going to really threaten my winning chances.
Yeah, I think if we see QIS, then we do need to see that E blocked.
UDS.
This is a
Nice.
word. I don't know if I've ever
Nice.
played this word.
This is a sticky S3. One of the funnier words. Let's just get the quick. An old art interjection meaning God save. Who among us has not uttered that after a particularly good draw in Scrabble, likely not containing UDs? Well, I guess it does have an S. Heidi's gonna challenge it, which makes sense. If there's ever a three that you might not know, this one is probably it, right?
I would love a challenge cam right now.
Yeah.
See her reaction to what the hell is that?
But it is good. Nice job, Vera, to know this. Um, But yeah, this is all right, I think. It just doesn't score that much. And now, pretty much any blocking play here for Heidi, anything that blocks this spot, maybe even keeping the U in case you draw the Q here, just seems really good, right?
Yeah, now it seems like blocking that bottom line is mandatory. It's also where her best plays are. Something like Were for 16. It's actually about as high as she can score on this board. There's also the E hook on 10, which I kind of forgot about until just now. Eat for Eaton.
Nice play here. This looks excellent. Just what the doctor ordered.
Yeah.
That looks really nice to prevent those worst case scenarios. Vera playing cat immediately, so she is saddled with the Q. She basically has to play it. Heidi draws overuse and oeuvres. And what is the state of the bag? Okay, so two in the bag. I would definitely be feeling good. Oh, she sees it. Not that it plays anywhere. It's nice to know that you have it, but of course, to no avail right now. But I cannot imagine what am I looking at here, Matthew, that's going to lose me the game.
Is there any opening play that Vera can make?
Oh, what about
Check.
a bingo ending in A? Is there any bingos ending in abroad here?
Jeez.
Something like that, almost,
In
right?
Edita, in Edita with MS in the bag.
Oh, brother. It
Yeah,
and it's how could you even block that? Oh no,
it might be
no,
unblockable.
no, no, no. Okay, so I think as long as she doesn't empty the bag, she can probably withstand that.
Well, she sees the E hook, or is she playing stem?
Wow, wait a second. This doesn't seem good. She needs
Wait, what are you?
to reconsider this. The board is so ironclad. All right, she's going to pick it up. She looked into the bag. Okay, so she put that on the board, put her hand into the bag to check, and felt two tiles and realized I cannot do this. Good job. She's got 2 minutes to think it over a little bit. But yeah, Inedita. So if MS is in the bag, this would be really devastating. This would be a heartbreaking loss, and it's possible.
I think she could outrun it if she plays one tile, like I don't know, YU at the top for five, and she has a chance to play through one of those floaters, maybe even bingo back.
Yeah, that's a good point. So if MS are actually in the bag in this nightmare scenario, if you play YU, Inedita gives back Venomers or Overseas. There we go. Nice. She played off the U, not necessarily in the perfect spot, but essentially now, um, yeah, Inedita is going to go down and give a bingo back as long as she can see.
Well, the M was in the bag, so Inedita is now a 1-8.
True. Oh man, what do you do about it? Yeah, that's the problem. So what
Do we
if
see a fish and S from Vera? That makes
yeah,
things pretty scary.
right. Yeah, so Matthew in the chat is saying the right play is to play Etten here. The reason being, it sets up a spot for you. If Vera has the bingo, you set up a spot for yourself to outrun it more successfully. Um, that makes sense to me because in this situation, NU looks great at first, but now if Vera defers playing the bingo, like if she sees that she can fish the S for Inedita, that creates a very bad situation for Heidi, where she might not be because the S fish, right? You can fish the S here now for a lot. It could be difficult to outrun Inedita, which looks completely unblockable. Oh, Jesus. Oh, brother. I would give Vera huge props
Yeah.
if she played an S here. You'd have to give her. I wouldn't need. I would be a little disappointed if I was Heidi, but I would mostly be like, "Damn, that is a sick play, right? That's just a great
So
play."
technically, Vera has she's won this, right? She just needs to fish that S. Um, Whatever her rack is, unless the S is in the bag, that makes this a little more complicated. But with any other rack she has, if she fishes the S, she will win.
Right? Yeah.
I'd love to
That.
know what she had. Right now, we would make this more interesting to talk about.
Yeah.
But
Can she? Yeah. Can she do that one more time and show us what she's got? But yeah, this just a matter of seeing it and thinking about it. Oh man, this would be a heartbreaker for sure. It feels like very tricky sequence down the stretch. I do like the idea in general of playing the U and preparing to hit the bingo hard, but the fact that there were two tiles in the bag, I mean, that's actually usually a great time to play one tile. So it's not that the problem was playing one tile, it was just the theme behind playing the one tile. What I mean by that is like, is the theme to respond to her bingo with a counter bingo, or maybe relevant theme is to play this
what if
as your tile and open up the scoring spot
what if instead of that U, what if you play? No, that doesn't work. I'm trying to figure out if there's a two-turn sequence to
to
block the
block it.
draw.
Yeah, how could you block it? That's totally true, right? So she didn't have so
I was
like
thinking like OU, which would give you a Roove next turn.
she plays an I.
Yeah.
She plays an I. So a huge reprieve here. If Vera had the S, she could have played it and won. Instead, we get a reprieve. Heidi can play moves. I wonder if she's even thinking
Wait, doesn't
about,
doesn't Vera have a seven on her rack?
well, detains, disdain doesn't quite fit. Stained. Oh
With
yeah,
Sainted?
why give this back? Did she just give the game away?
Doesn't that bingo? Is she mistracked or something?
Yeah, maybe she mistracked. She only had a minute to think about it. Oh boy, this is a painful one. I think all she had to do was just play anything not that. So time pressure definitely playing the role here. I think she knows immediately that she could have probably done other stuff. Um, that's tough. We've all been there. It's going to be a narrow loss. Definitely think the clock playing a role there for sure. But again, she did have another minute to think it through. There was no need for her to play quite so fast there. Um, so yeah, that is a tough one, Matthew. It hurts.
Yeah, and she had the luxury of going over time just to make sure that the bingo doesn't fit on the board, you know. But I think this is time pressure, or perhaps she mistracked. Yeah, it's got to be some combination of those.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure. If you
yeah, this is one
mistrack,
you're glad is toward the end of the tournament because a game like this is hard to bounce back from.
yeah, it's a tilter for sure. So yeah, moves. If her tracking suggested that that was going to be safe, then yeah, she probably thought about that. But yeah, she could have just played off her M or something right here, and kind of cruised to the win. Would have been crazy to see Vera play her S somewhere and get Inedita. So I'm sure I'll cut to the over the board. She's probably not happy, but I'm sure she's still taking it with as good cheer as could be in a situation like this.
Insane. Yeah. That was, yeah.
And I didn't have the T. I mistracked again.
That you missed track. I was hoping for a bingo that ended in A, abroad. But I couldn't see one. But that was a stupid game.
So-
Really pushed us.
Yeah, 322 plus the three. 400.
Fuck.
God damn it!
I'm
so
sorry.
Stupid.
Yeah.
So fucking stupid sometimes.
Way
You know?
too hard on
It's
herself
like-
here.
Open,
That's-
yeah.
But like I said, I mistracked. So I didn't see that.
The T.
Although,
I had to double track at the end there.
it's possible that there's still a bingo there even. But I mistracked. I don't know.
All right, we definitely got to send some good vibes here. I'm not sure if Vera said the T was in the bag or not, but yeah, if Heidi wants to take a rain check on the Zoom call, that's fine too. But if she does hop on with us, we will definitely. I mean, what can you really say? The time pressure definitely playing a role along with mistracking. I made a YouTube video about a game I lost in exactly the same fashion at the World Championship. So it's not like it doesn't happen to 99.9% of players. This is the agony of Scrabble, the trials and tribulations. I guess this is more trials, Matthew.
Probably mistrack at least a third of the games that I play. I gotta go back and fix my tracking. Usually I have time to fix it, but if I don't, I just sometimes I pray that I'm not opening up a bingo lane.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
frustrating way to lose, no question.
Yeah. I'll just let her know. We are here if you want, but you can also take a break if you need. We'll see what she says to that. She's laughing. Maybe she'll hop on anyway. I think she might be. Yeah, definitely happens to almost anybody, as Fall Be Kind says. So, all right, she's putting the headset on, I guess. So everybody try to say something nice and reassuring. If you are a Scrabble player or if you've done anything in your life relating to competition, you know it doesn't feel good when this sort of thing happens. So let's try to get some positivity going. Um, yeah, it looks like she is going to hop on with us. So yeah, it was, oh, she's squaring. So that was the penultimate game. She does have one more chance to have a great game to finish the stream off. can't forget that yesterday she really put on quite a performance, beating lots of great players, hundreds of rating points higher up. So we've seen her really hang with pretty much anybody.
Hey,
And here she is.
God.
Hey, how
Oh,
you
oh my
doing? That
goodness.
was. Please don't be too hard on yourself. Please tune into the Twitch chat and see that you're still getting tons of love from people, all of whom have probably been in situations like this before. It's a part of the game, and it was totally, time pressure and tracking related. And yeah, it doesn't feel good, but still a lot of great plays by you in this game.
I'm dumb.
It's not a dumb thing, I feel. I think it's like,
Stupid. Why didn't I just check again? I knew there was a tile missing from my tracking. I should have figured out what it was before I played.
well, you had literally 1 minute on your clock, so that would be the
I
reason.
could have
Sorry, let
done
me
it.
hide this.
I could have done it. I could have done it.
Look,
I'm
we've
just,
all we've all been in that situation when the clock is ticking down and the normal thought processes that we have in a Scrabble game get kind of scrambled by the nerves of seeing those final seconds ticking. So yeah,
well, to me, a minute is a lot of time now after playing Josh's Blitz tournaments, right? So I had time to check stuff.
all
I had
right.
time. So yeah, it's just stupid. It's dumb. Just giving away games. Like that's what I like to do apparently.
I wouldn't say that, but there were definitely still some really interesting and fun plays that you made in this game. I'm not sure. Do you have any top of mind, Matthew? What would be a good highlight to share?
I loved the score you got for erosion. You really maximized your points on that turn, making that E hook on CHE. I was hoping you'd see that.
Yeah.
Definitely the most points you can get out of that turn. What else did I like? Oh, when you played Akeen, that was like
Yes.
exactly the play that you needed to find
Yeah.
in that situation. So I
I
love
I
that
saw
as
that.
well.
I saw that a long time ago, but it wasn't the right play. I didn't feel like it was the right time to play it before because I knew she was waiting for an opening. But then, yeah, once she opened something, I was like, oh, I can play this now.
Yeah, for sure. I think the really nice thing about it that we were mentioning is if you were aware of the E hook on that, a key.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with that word? Because that would be such a nightmare scenario for Vera to play a bingo hooking a key, setting up an S that you do not have, right? So the idea being if you play a keen, yeah, sure, you're putting an E out in space, but you're preventing that even worse scenario of her bingoing with a key, and now you've got an S hook to worry about that you might have no way to really address. So you cut that off before it happened, and that was a really
So
good
I did
play.
all this. I did all this freaking great work, and then just fall apart at the end. I do that a lot, I think, where I'm just like making really good plays and shit, and like doing what I'm supposed to do, and then I just let like glitch at the end.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, the end of the game is simultaneously the part of the game where all the decisions get extra tough sometimes, and also where you have
My
the
decision
least.
was not tough at the end. My decision would not be tough at the end. Like all I had to do was not let her bingo, right? But I'm just like, yeah, that's fine.
I suppose if you had just sort of defaulted to saying, well, I'm sure she doesn't have a bingo on the board as it currently is, and I just play internally to the board, don't open anything, you probably come away with the win. But again, the time pressure does weird things to everybody, as people are reassuring you in the chat, such as Chess Bunzo. Nice to see you, Brian, our commentator from the previous 2 afternoons. So
Yeah.
look, it doesn't feel good, but you get one more game to cap off a tournament where tons of people are watching, enjoying. People have been really impressed with your play throughout. One little glitch at the end of a game doesn't change that, and you get one more game to show your stuff for the stream. So that's hopefully the mindset that you can get into.
Yeah, I just yeah. Yeah, I'm happy, like I mean, of course it doesn't feel good. It never feels good to lose 7 games in a row.
Oh,
Like,
is that what it's up to? No,
yeah.
you
Or 5 games in a row, I guess. I don't know.
It's five
Well, what happened?
games.
No, 6. What happened yesterday?
Yeah, it's 5 games today and one at the end of the day yesterday. So it is up to 6, which does not feel good. You're totally right. So hopefully you can get off that streak at the
But
end
also,
here.
I don't care about wins. Like if I played that game really well and lost, fine. But just making stupid mistakes like that doesn't feel good.
Yeah, for sure. I think we can all relate to that, Matthew, where like certain if you get blown out, it's okay, but blowing a game is what really that definitely is what gets me.
Yeah, and it's the kind of game you're glad is at the end of a tournament because it takes some emotional stamina out of you to have a game like that. It's only so
Yeah,
many games like that you can take. So hopefully your
yeah.
next game is an
Very
easy
true.
one. Every game today it's come down to the last couple turns. So
Yeah, they've not been like I had a good run. I don't know when it was where I didn't have to think about my turns very much. So I had a couple games there where I still had 7 to 10 minutes on my clock at the end. But yeah, these ones have all been super hard.
Yeah, definitely today has been full of games like that. We've mentioned it a few times that the 2 games against Rodney seemed basically identical, and then you had another game that morning that felt exactly like one of
Yeah,
those. So it's all been very similar. So yeah, we could definitely use one of those walkover type games where you just get to score 500 and enjoy it. But that being said, as for to separate your results from the viewing experience, having that many close games has actually been a fantastic watch for everybody, right? Like it's actually been quite exciting every single game coming down to the wire. We're rooting for you, so we don't, we would love for you to come out on the other end on some of those. But it's better than getting blown out that many times. Certainly, where
yeah,
you
yeah.
just don't even feel like you
Oh,
have a chance.
obviously, like I would much rather have these close games than have blowouts either on either end. So yeah,
Yeah.
I don't like having blowout games against people either. But I just want to
Well,
have like a few easy turns where it's like, okay, I don't have to think of it, or like just only have like a few of those super hard turns in a game because it's like, God, it's rough when every turn is cake and icing.
yeah. I'm sure the pairings are coming soon, but just to emphasize something from Vera's perspective, she actually, it's not like you're the only person that is running into difficulties. Assuming she had the S on her rack going into that last turn when she played her I, which I assume she did. I think she told you the last tile in the bag was a T, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, I don't know if she told me. I just said I had not, well, I wasn't tracking the T.
Oh, okay. Well, the odds are very good, 7 out of 8, in fact, that Vera had an S on her rack there, in which case
I,
she made a game losing mistake at the end there. She could
right?
have she could have played her S and drawn into inedita and abroad, which would have been completely unblockable from your perspective. So she
Yeah.
actually made a mistake that, under some circumstances would have taken a sure win for her with a great fish. She didn't do exactly the right thing.
Right, because she did fish. Yeah.
Yeah, her
So,
correct play was if she had the S, she would have needed to play it there. Oddly, you don't usually have a situation like that. All right, the pairings just came up. It looks like you're repeating against Steve Krieger, so you can get some revenge against Steve, hopefully,
he
in the
keeps saying
last
that, and I
game.
never get revenge. I just get beat up again.
There's a first time for everything. So, yeah, I like your chances. We hope you have a great final game. Anyone in chat have any final thoughts before Heidi's last game of the tournament, round 22? Give the floor to the chat. It seems like you can see a lot of great vibes coming your way, but one final opportunity for people. Um, and there we go. A critter says you got this. I think, yeah. See,
Thank you.
all true things. Nice. Thanks, everybody. Um, so yeah, very, very resilient. I think you're gonna have a great final game. Fingers crossed.
I hope so. But I hope it's a good game still. I hope it's not like, oh, halfway through you're like, okay, this game's decided.
I hope it's over by the third turn,
I
so they
hope
start
you.
by
I hope you draw
250.
Musejix. Yeah, I hope you draw Musejix and then Kha'Zix on the next turn. Triple triple. That's what I'm hoping, and that you are up 500 to 10. So that's what I'm hoping. If you want a close game, so be it. You've heard that both of us want a blowout in your favor. So either way, somebody's going to be happy.
Okay.
Unless you get bagged. That's the only
Please,
bad
I
thing.
just don't want to get back.
Yes. Reasonable requests. All right. I'm sure Steve is going to head over. Anything you want to say to the chat before we let you get to your last game?
Of course, I know I sound like a broken record, but just I really, really do appreciate all you guys being here and watching and having a good time and hanging out together. It's my favorite. And you're all saying such nice things. It's so nice of you. Like of course I'm doing this. Like I don't care. It's fun for you guys. It's fun for me. Um, I know some people like are afraid to be on stream making mistakes and stuff, but like why would you be afraid of that? Like we're all human beings, and it's very, very nice, I think, for people to remember that we're all mortals here, and you don't start off being a perfect Scrabble player or whatever. So I mean, if anyone ever gets to that level besides Nigel.
Not
But
even
yeah,
Nigel. Not
yeah,
even he.
it's true. He does make a mistake every once in a millennia. Um, but yeah, it's fun, and it's really nice for me to know that you guys are rooting for me. And you don't, yeah, it's not like you're expecting me to do all these things. And I do get a kick out of the fact that you never know what I'm gonna do. You never know if I'm gonna make a brilliant play or not, because my knowledge is so random. But so yeah, I think that's fun, and I'm glad to see uh, a few people watching. It's nice to see, and I hope we get more, and I hope that more people decide to do this. So thanks, you guys. Steve is here. I'm just go play him.
All right. Well said. Good luck. Enjoy.
Yeah, bye, guys.
All right, there you go. Wise words. Thank you, everybody, for the good vibes. It's always nice. I mean, it's actually it's important to note something, Matthew. I feel like when I stream on Twitch, I'm definitely 10% worse than usual. Like I definitely miss stuff and do stuff that I wouldn't. I wouldn't say necessarily that Heidi is quote unquote streaming from the sense of also doing all the production work, but she actually is. Again, I have the picture of it here. Where is it? You can see she had to set up all this equipment and make sure all the camera angles are capturing the board and the tiles and all of that stuff. Like you're actually doing extra stuff over and above just playing the tournament. And I feel like that can't help but also sort of, it's hard, Matthew, to sort of trace it and be like, oh yeah, I made this mistake because I'm also worrying about my tech. It doesn't work like that. But somewhere, in some nebulous way, that stuff does add up.
Yeah, not just the distraction of all these peripherals around you, but every time you find yourself with a difficult rack, finding yourself remembering that, oh, there's 24 people in chat watching me struggle with this play, and that always just makes it a little bit harder.
Yep, definitely true. Looks like we're underway, and it is Steve going first. I see you got the scores reset. Fantastic. And that's it. We're at the finish line almost. One more game to go. Let's hope we get to see some cool stuff in this one, as we have throughout. It has not been the best day from a wins and losses standpoint, but games have been close. A lot of fun, interesting positions to analyze, and hopefully everybody is enjoying. So let's finish with a bang. I'm not sure I guess they're just mixing or whatever. I thought Steve was about to draw. But here we go. 64-bit Scrabble says I should get drunk before doing this. It's up to you, I suppose. Maybe that helps. All right, let's see. Decent start of the two R's. Oh. All right. So this is a nice rack to go second with, I would say, Matthew.
I see one through an L.
T.
T.
Herodom.
Wow, that is a great phony. No, that's honestly like really good. Like this might sound sarcastic, but I love it when people come up with plausible phonies like this. It shows like really good creativity and natural anagramming. But
Yeah.
this is not a word, unfortunately. There's a lot of words that look like it. But that's not good.
Yeah, she'll challenge. I just can't imagine her not. Here's the thing, though, Matthew. Gotta not walk into the trap if you're Heidi of playing your A here. I'm not sure what else there is, but if
Headroom.
Heidi goes ahead and just doesn't think about what she could be giving, she could just play early. She has early set up. So oddly, given the tiles that that
So
Steve just showed, you could probably play Riley. Maybe does
you
that?
could okay, hear me out. Because she bingos through that D. So what can she do? Is homed like the most obvious play for Steve to make? HOMED? Because that puts a D in a spot where drearily comes down to hit the triple. I think we're looking at a an accidental pass or like I don't know
Or
if she can somehow give the turn back.
just play railery. Just play railery. Maybe he. Oh, then he'll see drearily.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't show all six. Okay, so if you play a 7-letter phony bingo, if you're Heidi here, he's gonna see that you have drearily and not give you the D he wants. She shouldn't play rarely. Should she? Yeah, she need no. She can't play rarely either because that's the A. So you have to play. Oh, all right. She's gonna play rarely. I would say it's again though. It isn't a gimme that Steve. Let me update. Sorry, this is Steve Krieger. Um, Steve Krieger, who is 9 and 12. I have that right. Okay, everything should be correct. So now he has a chance to see headroom, but that is not a gimme of a word whatsoever, right? Like he could miss that, and Heidi works out just fine playing this off. So yeah, not a great draw for her.
I feel like we
And
could have just discussed that last position for Heidi for a good half hour.
yeah, what to do? What to do there? That's really tricky, right? Knowing what he has. Um, okay, he's gonna
He's
not
escaped headroom. Yeah.
moody. No headroom coming down for Steve. That's a tough one. So she's gonna escape. She can definitely play something parallel to this. Whether it's I don't know whether she would just play fob, keeping a very vowel heavy rack. That might be okay, even though it leaves 3 vowels and 1 consonant. Is there a way to
Yeah.
do
She's got
better?
like Phoebe in that spot. Uh,
Oh, Phoebe. Yeah, that looks
um,
nice. Phoebe
Boep,
here.
horrible looking Collins word. BOEP in the same spot.
Okay, so tricky ones there. So she has a bunch of plays that are very similar, playing alongside the O of Moody. So really good try, as you said, by Steve. Herodom definitely seems quite reasonable. Fob is going to be the play. This seems pretty good. Maybe you want to get rid of an extra tile, but that being said, if she draws consonants, she could definitely do very well after this play.
Yeah, I can appreciate a good phony, and that was a major league phony.
Yeah, Herodom. There's a lot of DOM words just like that,
Yeah,
so
Airdom, HEIR. Yeah, it's
sure.
very similar, same consonants.
Nice play here. Raja for a lot of points. And this creates a situation where I feel like there is one play that stands out in my mind that I would probably be playing Peary through that R very fast here. And I'm hoping it's because it's the right play.
It's pretty much far and away the best play. Otherwise, you're looking at Sepier burning your ass for only 3 more points, and there's really just nothing else. You can play pre. It's the same score, 27, but that keeps double I's, Pree in that spot. But she's really going to want to see Peary, which is not a, it's a common word. So hopefully she's seen it as a Scrabble word.
Yeah, not at all common. So, um, I think the argument that you would make to probably have seen it somewhere in your career is just that it has so many vowels, right? It's just one of those words with a boatload of vowels in it. It's even a hook to Erie, so you might have seen it in that context. She might be thinking of playing Sepier, which is pretty solid, frankly. If she does not see, all right, she's just going to play Ray. So this is a big drop in score to keep maybe the highest bingo chances spot. Well, I don't even know if it's that high, actually. Um,
Floating
so,
R's definitely helped this leave a lot. Um,
yeah,
but other than that, I'd rather see her take the points in this turn.
let's see what she gets.
Spay wife through an F. Oh,
That would be incredible to see that be played. Um, yep, 64-bit Scrabble also pointing that out. So yeah, not the best draw of WA. You probably would want to see two low point consonants, and you'd be bingoing a ton here. Instead, um, it's going to be back to Steve. And Steve, after that opening phony, he's up by 2 points before this play, so he still is in pretty good shape here. Phony didn't really hurt him that much. Maybe there is kind of an axiom that I've heard, Matthew, that if you're going to go for the gusto and play a phony, doing it on the beginning turn of the game is a decent time to do it.
it's like he's playing second. And imagine if he had played Headroom, then he could even claim that he phoned it on purpose because he was hoping to get an A.
Yeah, that would be Galaxy Brain for sure. Um, yeah, tough one. Let's see what he does. Blaze.
Ooh. Another big A hook, like board from last season, or from last game. A Blaze is now available.
You mentioned that you don't remember which one takes the S. I think it was Broad, no?
I've already forgotten which one takes an S. Is it a boards or a bronze?
Yeah, it's whatever. It doesn't really matter. But you're right. A blaze is, I think, going to occur to her immediately. But is there really a good. You could literally just play WAE there and balance your rack and go for a bingo, and that would certainly be warranted. I'm not even sure. So it's been pointed out of Pesewa gets you a few more points and really turns everything over except the I on your rack. I don't think I mind a shorter play, but it feels crazy that I can't reach the double word score here.
Yeah, the easiest, most natural play here is just swipe underneath
Under.
Blaze, making
Sure.
it's 43. It puts an S in a spot where eventually a bingo is going to come down there. But she wants to hold on to that S. So this is not bad. This is actually, she's keeping the golden trio of vowels there, which is has a lot of potential in Collins. She's retaining the A hook and Blaze. And yeah, she just needs to get a couple consonants and she's away to the races.
Looks reasonable, actually. Um, yeah, the idea of playing swipe underneath there is probably so many points that you would just do it. And let me see what we get. Oh my god, UV again. I feel like she's gotten a lot of UV draws. At least in this case, if she wants to play Uvia and a Blaze, or oh yeah, I guess
Vivia.
Suave, Bivia. Okay, so there are some plays that are palatable here, but that is not the draw that she probably wanted. Um, see what she elects to do. Both Uvia and Suave leave two eyes for next turn, whereas Bivia at least. Oh, she has visualized. She is visualizing that word. If she could have an L and an S or Z, but it's not to be. So,
So the equity play is just Avi, AVI, and a Blaze.
oh, interesting. Okay, so probably. Oh, what's she gonna go for? Vibe. Yeah. Okay. Now Suave comes onto her radar, scoring very well. Um, Oh, the sim preferred Ablaze and Awe. That was the play that I originally suggested as being decent. All right, Suave is going to score a ton here.
I don't hate this play. I think it's fine.
Yeah, you just got to try to dodge these eyes. Only one eye on the board right now, so that is definitely a concern. To draw one or more even could be pretty rough. If she can just dodge the rest of them and draw decently well, I think she'll be all right. Looks like Steve is going to play Vogie, so there's one of those eyes. All right, number 3. Okay. Could be worse, but could be a whole lot better. Another eye coming on the rack there.
Yeah,
So
there's at least plays that'll clean up this rack, but not many. Like she has Genie Eye, but it doesn't really play in a place that you want to put it.
it's
Genie
true.
Eye next to Vogie is 17, and it puts an eye in the triple lane.
Yeah, that seems a little crazy to do. I wonder what do you do here?
So, although the triple
Exchange?
eye is unappealing, the ing kind of saves the rack from. You could keep Genie Eye as a 5 tile leave, and that's not that bad. So if you want to play off just OI somewhere, that's okay. It's like a decent bingo leave with the S floating. You kind of wish there were more floaters, but yeah, either one of those spots, those look okay to me. I think I like those.
Yeah, very interesting. This very different plays, of course. This one opening the triple back as a potential line. This one doing a little bit of closing. Kind of choose your own adventure in terms of what type of board you want. I would say traditionally, I would expect no fear. If she sees right here, she might want to do that, reasoning it's a good thing for her if she just gets rid of the I and the O, keeping all that other stuff. You keep the S open and this spot open, and maybe you draw into something that Steve cannot adequately address. That being said, I kind of feel like I want to do this. The reason being, if Steve does not have a bingo to the S, it doesn't seem that likely that he's going to come up with a block of it. I don't think I need 2 lines here most of the time, and I'm happy to play it safe, not open anything too crazy, and try to hit this S, or who knows where else.
Yeah, see, I don't mind. I don't mind OI hooking boho because that I doesn't really like. What can you put next to the I? I guess there's still 6 T's unseen. Um, so yeah, pretty likely that Steve will have a spot play there. So maybe I'm changing my mind as I speak.
It is fair to say, though, that yeah, you're opening the triple, but it would be so much worse to open a triple if this square were accessible and that you would expect a counterplay to go down through there. Um, 64-bit Scrabble says the sim wants Heidi to exchange and keep
I think
IIO.
he
I'm
means exchange
I'm gonna
I.
assume exchange IIO is what he means. Heidi's gonna play Genie Eye, which is probably a good equity play, like you said, Matthew. But I really worry about opening the board like that.
Yeah, for the record, this is actually the equity play, but I imagine if I press the sim button, it would fall a bit.
Yeah, you're definitely exposing yourself to some potentially very damaging counterplays here. Then again, Steve did just play Vogie, a 4 tile play, and he hasn't been looking like. And look at this, he's not. Wow. Wow. Just Agio. So that's as huge of a. Could this. What is he doing here? Is this a setup for something, or is he really just struggling that badly
He's
with.
playing it so fast. Yeah, I don't know what to think about this one. Like, he must have a duplicate A and a duplicate O, and then like dynamite letters aside from that, and he's like guaranteed to hit a bingo next turn.
Maybe. Um, the frustrating thing here is that I don't think with these letters that Heidi can really productively play through this eye. Of course, she now in this game has plenty of time to look, and she's going to look. We can sit here and put it into the engine and say there isn't anything. But the
Yeah,
scary thing if I'm her, is what do I even do? You can play into this S. There's definitely some things like, as has been pointed out, Grunyon's Anginus. Is that what she's going to do?
Undoings. Yeah, I was hoping she'd come up with something. I was like, all of these bingos are kind of missable, but
Nice.
she found undoings quickly, which is great.
Yeah, this is great. Only scary thing, I worry about this spot. If she can just dodge something big on this turn right now and give herself a chance to draw something there, it would just be the theme of the day, Matthew. If Steve triples her right now, it feels like every bad break that can happen has just been happening today. So hopefully, I'm not jinxing it by speaking it into existence. So we'll see. I mean, the nice thing about Agio, two vowels. So maybe less likely than usual to be able to hit another vowel. And we can now see no second blank. Not a great draw overall. There actually are Collins sevens available in there. Not that they would play, but that's a great sight to see because the second blank being on her rack means you're not about to get hit with it by Steve. So that's a relief.
Yeah. Yeah, Agio is not a play that keeps the blank very often. I think you're playing Agio with a very strong natural rack. So I expect he kept probably three vowels, two consonants, all one pointers, probably with duplicate A and possibly another O. But we're just hoping she survives this turn with that floating I. And if she does, I think she's in great shape to win.
Yeah, totally agreed. There's not 100% sure what she'll play through the I. Oh, she sees that maybe HUIA, even though it leaves two I's, that seems perfectly fine here for her. She has it set up as a 4. I'm not sure if she's thinking about that somewhere else. But yeah, definitely the delay. Steve seems to be a fast player, so the delay here makes me feel good that there's probably no triple coming, and that's going to be huge. So things are looking good, but Matthew, there have been games where things look good earlier, so we got to stay the course and keep fighting. If you're Heidi, you cannot let your foot off the gas and continue to stay focused, despite the fact that this is round 22. And if you're anything like me, your brain is starting to reach mush status.
I've been watching six games today, and my brain is already starting to turn to mush. So I know what she feels like right now. She feels like her brain is probably 5 degrees hotter than usual, but you just got to focus a little bit longer.
G. Okay. More vowels. Steve clearly struggling there, and that's. I mean, yeah, there is some threat to that E in the upper corner now, but if I'm Heidi, I'm basically saying I get an opportunity to block the I of Genii, and
Yeah,
I move on with my life.
it's got to be Huya. She's lined up the word. We know she sees it. She just has to gather the courage to keep two eyes, which she did once before, and it didn't work out. But I think that's the play this turn.
Yeah, it's definitely getting safer to keep the two eyes as so many of them have been played in recent turns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you're only getting two more. Um, seems seems okay. Suggestion of Hui here. That would be really funny just because it probably is really great for your chances of bingoing next turn. And the game is kind of close, Matthew. Maybe it's okay to just play Hui, reasoning that you want to get that next bingo down. You're shaking your head no.
Not after these two plays. Look what he just played, Agio and G. Not like in a vacuum, sure, but he's just fished. He's got all one pointers.
Yeah,
Just take out that triple lane. You have the blank. You're gonna bingo again. You're so far ahead.
very fair to say. I think I'm definitely happily playing Huya. I was just throwing that out there as an idea. I agree with this choice. This is what I would play, and it's what Heidi plays.
I can't wait for him to bingo this turn. I want to see what his letters are, and it's something that would have triple through an eye.
There you go. We talked a little bit about the results-oriented thinking. That would certainly be a good data point here. If he does get a bingo down, which it feels inevitable. I mean, he's made now a number of short plays, one after the other, dating back to Caw, Vogie a little bit longer. All right, here we go. Up, upstream.
Stream.
Primates.
Primates. Okay, where's
Primates.
64-bit Scrabble?
Primates.
I gotta message this kid right now.
So dodging primates, definitely good timing to block that I at the base of the board. So in case you're watching and wondering what are we freaking out about, upstream is a word, so no challenge. It is a word. Had Heidi played elsewhere, those same letters of upstream would play with primates, hitting 2 triples and giving Steve probably an extra 50 to 60 points, maybe more. So yeah.
Heidi gives up on this rack pretty quickly, which she's correct to do because there's actually no bingos.
Wow,
And
really? I was looking, but Flit
Flit
seems
is pretty close. It might be the best play. She can do flight in the same spot, unloading an E, but there's only one E left in the bag, so I think this is the right play. And she makes it pretty quickly.
Yeah. So she's still in very good shape. She can afford to be patient here. It would just suck so hard if Steve just draws a natural 7 somewhere. And all right, Cody, that's still a pretty good play for him. Playing it
Steve
really
is
fast.
he's roaring back in this game in a way that we were hoping he would not. Between the bingo and Kadi,
For sure.
is this rack finally good enough to bingo? It looks like it should be.
Daisies.
Ooh, there's a
Silesia.
few bingos.
Yeah, Silesia, right?
There's a very difficult one available. Aside from Silesia, and there's one other 7.
And it's a difficult 7.
There's 3 bingos. There's an 8, which is very difficult. Silesia, and then another 7, which I believe is pretty difficult.
I'm looking around. Not seeing it yet. Difficult fit. Dire rises, Matthew's saying. I don't even see where that fits yet.
Blank D and Undoings. Yeah.
Oh, Dire rises still fitting from this blank D. Oh my god. That's a toughie. That is a toughie for sure. I think Silesia is still gonna be good. Let's give Steve his Cotty points though, because I think he's definitely he's gonna be pretty close, if not ahead, by a solid margin.
He is ahead in this game.
So the scary thing about Silesia is it's definitely far from ironclad in terms of like, oh yeah, I'm gonna bingo and win the game for sure. This definitely gives back plenty, so it's a little scary to play it. Dire Rises is a very high degree of difficulty play. Sir, am I getting an issue with the...
Yeah, I've hit save a couple times. Does it stop picking up my changes?
I could try to run the script again. Give me a sec here. It did. I'm happy that it's been working mostly, but I'm going to try again. Give me 1 sec. I'll close it down and reopen.
So the other 7 that plays, aside from Silesia, which is a pretty high prob bingo, you can make the blank a K for Psy-Ks, or you know how to pronounce this word.
Oh, Psy-Ks, yeah.
K-E-I-S.
Very tricky. All right, let's see what happens here. Hopefully it's gonna pick it up shortly. Maybe just give it another Control S just to see what happens. There we go. Thank you very much. Sorry, everybody. That is the updated score. We got it now, and we should be good. Yeah, this is tough. Heidi had a lot of time, so she has plenty to spend here. But yeah, what are people are saying playing ISOs? Where I'm not even seeing where that.
Maybe O and Moody.
Oh wow, scoring well. Yeah, leaving AIE. Yeah, look at the pool. Oh man, crazy.
Wow, I didn't even notice.
Picking up on that. That is why ISOs is such a powerful play.
Yeah. So
You're leaving.
Silesia is actually pretty terrible. Believe it or not. It's only worth bingoing here if you see die rises, and even then,
This pool is pretty crazy when you look at it. Steve just bingoed, so it's very likely that he's sitting on a ton of consonants. And if not, yeah, I mean, if he isn't, then the bag is almost completely consonants, right? Like if Steve somehow drew 2 or 3 vowels here, the bag is entirely consonants, which makes ISOs a very powerful option here. So this is a toughie. Wow. Just blazes. That's kind of cool. It's not, it's sort of the same theme. Look at that. Keeping all of these vowels together. She definitely has a good chance of drawing a consonant and maybe bingoing on her next turn. So that seems like a maybe not the absolute best play, but the logic behind it, Matthew, feels pretty sound.
yeah, it's even if she had seen the bingos, it would have been reasonable to pass them up. Um, so will she see if Steve is in fact?
Oh,
Oh, that's not a word.
challenge, challenge, challenge.
Man, he is a gifted phony player.
He's
This is
yeah,
also very
creative.
creative.
She's got to challenge this. No way does she not. Yep, there we go. Huge swing. Now he's going to have to go into next turn with the same letters. It is interesting to note that he's got 2 vowels in the Y. So if
Yeah,
you consider that, in the pool, definitely
man.
a little bit scary to bingo, but you got to go ahead and do it. I think if you have one available that isn't, I mean, do you have one that's not scary to play?
Eddie has no bingos.
Really? She has no playable bingos? Oh my god. That's brutal. How can she get away from looking for several minutes for a bingo here? There's like no way. I would be in agony.
It's gonna take some discipline. You got to move on from this rack quickly. I would give myself a time limit of 2 minutes to look for a bingo, and if it's not there, you got to move on fast. But the free turn is huge because now she gets to do this from a position of being ahead instead of trailing.
Yeah, that was a big swing for sure. But oh, it is so crazy to think no bingos playable here. Um, what is she gonna do? Hopefully, she does not take a gamble on something. She is only up by 11, but I feel like, does she have? Trying to imagine, like,
So there's a T hook on flits. You can score
yeah,
a couple points there.
it.
If you want to burn the S, you can hook zaps with something like Geitz,
Yeah, Geitz might be good here.
or probably the least exciting play is just Knight, Nite from the N in Undoing.
Those all seem good. The nice thing about all of them is you're keeping, well, Geitz keeping 2 vowels, Knight keeping 2 vowels, and then yeah, you definitely. I'm curious to imagine how clued in is she to the fact that the pool, from her perspective, with all these vowels in hand, the pool is so vowel light. Is she aware of that? I feel like so. Her previous play kind of suggests that she is.
Yeah, so there are 13 tiles in the bag, and there's a single O and a single U in there. Everything else is a consonant. and they're clunky consonants too. You got like an X, a V, a triple T, double R, double D.
This is so troll that she does not have a playable bingo. Seriously, that is annoying. Very annoying.
Yeah, I'd be looking from the E and G or from the O, thinking like something. There's got to be a five vowel eight somewhere, but it's just not there. So it'll take some discipline to finally give up, but she'll need this time. Like this game could get very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely still plenty of turns to come in this game, right? Steve kind of, in a way, playing that phony has a hidden benefit, which is that it's going to prolong the game and increase the odds. He's got plenty of time. He's played very fast. Just DI. Okay, this
Well,
definitely
she'll probably get
means,
to bingo.
yeah, the bingo is extremely likely now for her next turn. It's going to be tough for Steve to do much.
You gonna play donkey? We know he has.
Just unyoke. Oh
Oh
no
no,
fucking
no!
way.
That's not fair.
That is wild and so ridiculous. I can't even tell you. I hope she has a 7 tile overlap here. Does she? Aridist?
Yeah, Aridist is 103.
Come on. Just has to.
Asteroid.
Yeah, that is unbelievable. She'll probably challenge this as well, if I had to guess, or maybe she knows it. But that is insanely. I don't know. Could you? There's no way you could possibly have predicted that. That is so unlucky.
So,
She just
man,
has to. She's gonna let it stay correctly,
so she's gonna bingo, and then we're gonna have an end game with one vowel between the two of them for the last 12 tiles.
which that's probably a good thing for her if she spots Aridist, right? Like she's gonna go up a lot, so Steve will have a deficit to make up. But she's got time. There's time.
There's no
There's
vowels to play through either. It's gonna be
yeah.
a slow end game.
Ugh, there's so many. There's so many possibilities for her to go through. That's the problem. She has 4 minutes and she has to go through all this stuff and be able to see. But maybe she can, maybe the placement of the vowels and consonants here can help her. Oh, she's almost there already. She's
We
almost
want to see
there.
Aridist, but even something like dilates will pull her pretty far ahead. And then if she's the one to draw that O, then she'll probably win. I think dilates is most likely going to be good enough, but we'd like to see that 103 points.
She has EST. Just has to mess with some of the other stuff. I mean, this is incredibly annoying. I would be so tilted in her situation here. It would be very, very difficult at the end of a 22 round tournament to focus in and try to find the right play here. But she has a few minutes left to think it over. The idea of not bingoing is kind of tempting too, just because if you just play only one, if you only play one vowel, your odds of getting a bingo down next are so good. And we know that there's basically no way Steve can do anything in these spots worse than Ox, leaving all. Oh, check it out. No. She had AIDEST with the blank in the and not the right place. The
Be a little afraid of drawing the X if I choose not to bingo, but you will get a couple turns to unload the X and eventually get your bingo down.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, I can see why passing it up is reasonable, but not intuitive.
All right,
This dilates.
dilates.
Yeah.
This is pretty good. This should lead to a good situation for her in the end game. I'll be very curious to see if she draws the O, right? If she draws that O, I think she's fine. If
Yeah,
she
because she did just set up a spot for an O parallel to unyoked, where something like Cox, COX, can go down. So if Steve has Cox, COX, then it's an end game and a dangerous one because it means that Heidi has seven consonants.
N R R O C. Fantastic. We got the O. We got the O. That's going to make things really tough on Steve here. So corner, I don't think that's going to play. But the fact that she has the O just makes things so tough. Steve, LNTTTVX. What can you even do with that? I think she's going to be home free here. Oh my God. Couldn't make it easy. The unyoked situation is absolutely insane, Matthew. I don't think I've seen that one. I mean, I've seen variations of that, but that is pretty gnarly to have happen.
Yeah, he was not supposed to have that many vowels on his rack, let alone a playable bingo after he just lost his turn. I'm glad that she didn't tilt off the face of the earth and hunkered down to find a bingo because that's going to win her the game.
Yeah, that is insane. So, yeah, the idea being discussed of, is it actually better to just play Tad here, covering up the spot, preventing Steve from playing Ox if he has it, and essentially guaranteeing your leave would be what, SEI blank? You can definitely draw 3 consonants and still bingo with that a ton of the time. Who's to say that all the bingos that you draw with that are that easy to find? There might be some tricky situations where the actual word you're supposed to find is kind of tough. But yeah, either way, this is certainly going to get the job done. I just don't even know what Steve is supposed to do here with all that trash. What even is his correct play? Just just something through this O. I don't even know. How do you use your...
Oh, hang on. He's got minx from the MI up top.
Okay, minx. Correct is VAT. VAT. I see. Okay. I guess. Corf. Oh, right. Yeah, maybe that comes next. So, yeah, either way, up 22 already. Should be no problem. There's just, I mean, can Steve even go out in 3? That's what we're looking at here, right? So she can go out in 2. I don't think Steve can even go out in 3. So it should be all right. Maybe there's a way for Steve to go out in 3, like VAT, Minx, and then he could go out. But Heidi will go out in 2, so that's all she really has to do, I think.
It's going to be a long and slow in game, but I think we already know what the result is going to be.
So all right, crazy. Just has to hold her nerve here and just play kind of normal moves. Don't misidentify the blank of dilates and accidentally play something that isn't like corn here. Yeah, I think she will be just fine, and she's gonna get a win. Her record in those games at the end of the session has been very good at this tournament. So I guess it's now 3-2. How many sessions? Yeah, no, there would have been 6 sessions. I think it's 4-2. Either way, Steve's in a bit of a bind here, to say the least.
Yeah, he's using up his time. But if I were in his seat, I would just throw it on the first word that I saw. Like,
yeah.
I'm not coming away from this game. So.
Yep, you got a long drive home. This game, I mean, I guess you could you could be trying to think about creative ways to steal this, but with no vowels, it's just like, what can you even do? So
It would have been interesting to see this if he had the O instead of Heidi. How does this game play out? It's going to be some frantic 14 play end game where they're each dinking tiles for 7 or something. But
yeah,
the O appearing on Heidi's rack makes this a foregone conclusion.
Oh wow, Heidi's bot automatically shouts out people who raid. That's very impressive. Who knew? Thank you very much. I guess Josh is just walking around behind. That's maybe he's not. Clearly, he's not seeing this. But Josh doing his own stream over there of games from Division Two, so nice to see. I'm not sure if there have been too many tournaments where there are multiple streams that you can try to watch. So placed Heidi's O with a T, and Steve wins by 1. Okay, there you go. So very precise end games probably required.
Would have liked to see that. Although I'm sure Heidi likes being able to win comfortably. It would have been more interesting for viewers to see that end game.
Yeah, for sure. That would be crazy. A 1 point. I mean, I'm happy that this game is not going to be a 1 point. All right, he plays mixed. Yeah, maybe just not thinking about minx, which would double the X instead of the T. That's going to be fine. See what Heidi elects to do. Just no phonies, and she should be just fine here. Doesn't have a ton of time. Certainly would not want to see her take a time penalty here for any reason.
Probably has the luxury of even a lost turn, to be honest. She's that far ahead because what does Steve have? He's got 5 consonants, and that is probably his highest scoring play.
Makes sense. So suggesting the best play is ran, I assume, to just prevent the simple vat play here. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Ran, then core, I'm guessing, that combination. Followed by Steve playing Erev. Maybe the V becomes difficult to shed. She's going to go ahead and play Corn. This definitely feels like a natural play to me. Even if it does allow that, it's all good. This is going to be more than good enough. Multiple places for the R on the board. No worries there. I'm expecting Steve to play that in short order. And a crazy, crazy one.
This was a fascinating game right from the first turn.
Yeah.
Some theoretically fascinating positions with that Hero Rack and Heidi potentially trying to get that D on the board so she can play drearily. And then
how do you do that?
And then that and yoked rack also shocking from her perspective.
Got to get the D on the board without giving the A up for headroom. So, what do you do?
I think you do a fake exchange where you exchange 2 tiles, but then put the same letters back on your rack.
Can you do that?
Technically, it's
you can
debatable whether that's
whether it's ethical, but you can put 2 tiles down and accidentally just not put the right, like that would normally be bad.
Well, the ruling is that it's a pass. It's the same as a pass. And what you want to do is pass, but you don't want to make it look like you're passing.
So it's like user error.
Yeah.
But it's not an error. Oh my god, that's I guess I didn't grasp that when we were talking about it before. That's hilarious. I mean, is there any thought to playing like RILY? Or maybe it's too big of a risk.
What if he just accepts it and you just scored like 14 or something?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's fine.
Riley. Stupid looking word. Yeah, I think the fake pass is definitely the lowest risk way, but also the highest ethical cost. Crazy. I'm very curious. I'm going to unmute and see what they're talking about over the board here.
I thought there might be something even better that goes this way.
Yeah, that was nice. But that's why I played N-Yoke, because I had the bingo. I figured if it's not good, maybe it'll give me a place to play it.
Right.
Steve saying he envisioned the unyoked sequence, saying I would play this and hope you gave me a spot to play the real
All right,
word.
thank you. You want me to
Just,
square them?
that's pretty amazing.
Devious.
All right, she gets up. Nobody's talking, so I'll mute the over the board. So yeah, that is pretty devious and amazing. But man, I would be tilted beyond belief, Matthew, if that happened.
Yeah, I don't know how I would recover from that, but she did. She found a bingo and survived the end game. So
Yeah, great win to finish off. So I think probably she'll tap in and say hello to us one more time. It looks like she's getting the earphones in, but yeah, that's it. I can unpin this restarting message. While we wait for her to connect to the Zoom, let me just make sure I don't miss her when she does that. We can just look at the standings as they're unfolding, or maybe not if I don't have them up, but they should be here. Hello? Why is my standings not showing up? Where are you? The standings are here. There we go. Okay, we got them back. So here we have it. Look at that performance, Matthew, by Jason. Good grief.
only one loss in 20 games. That's pretty insane.
1986 spread. Nice job by Josh, Lori, Tony, also in that top group. Looks like Heidi in 20th for now. Not sure who she's going to pass. She may not be in a position to pass too many people. It looks like everybody ahead of her already has more wins. So, in any case, here she comes. Welcome back onto the Zoom for one final recapping time. That was an epic. Whoop. Can you hear us? Oh, wait. No, she's not on Zoom. Or she is. I'm not hearing her yet. Let's see. She's working on it. We know she's on the call. Can you hear us? Can you hear us, Heidi?
Oh, yes, I can hear you now.
There we go. Okay, you got it. Welcome back. What a crazy game to finish things off. That was peak content pretty much through and through. Not sure. Did we?
Oh my God.
You can still hear us?
Sorry, just one sec. Yeah, I'm on my
Yeah.
phone. So.
Yeah, of course. Oh. Not sure who.
But yeah. I'm good. Can you not hear me?
I think we can. I'm not
Okay.
sure if you're talking to people there or us.
Oh,
but,
no, I'm talking to you. I'm
Oh,
talking to
okay.
you, yeah.
Yeah, that was insane.
Winter was just grabbing his cord.
Got it. Okay, cool. But yeah, you made it to the finish line, finished off with a win in a game that I kept saying repeatedly would have tilted me to the absolute max. The seeing Unyoked come down, I probably would have flipped the board and just walked out of the tournament venue. But you stayed nice and calm. Were able to find the beautiful overlapping bingo, and then importantly,
Was there a better one? Was there a better overlap?
Matthew.
So you could have done Aridist for a 5-tile overlap.
Aridus. Nice.
103.
Nice.
But really, I think
I
you
knew
just
there
needed
was
to come up with
something.
something.
Yeah.
But you were.
I really wanted to find that, but I just couldn't do it.
You were in a time crunch too. I think I can maybe get the Quackle up here. So you had to come up with something in a hurry, or else you were at risk of incurring a time penalty, which could have been really bad if you didn't draw the last vowel. It was headed towards an extremely close game. So fortunately, that last vowel really, really helpful because Steve had 7 consonants. And it was okay from there. But yeah, there was the beginning of the game was really interesting as well, with Steve playing Hero Dumb, which you challenged off. So then your rack was the interesting thing about this is you don't have a 7 letter bingo, but there were tiles that Steve could play, like the D, which would have given you drearily. So we were just wondering, like, how can you gambit your way into like not actually playing a word and getting Steve to play homed or something like that and give you the D, but we didn't really come up with a foolproof strategy to do that. So yeah, other than that, not sure. Were there any other Matthew highlights we want to bring up here?
Yeah, I mean those two phonies by Steve were probably the highlights of the game, just from a psychological standpoint. The fact that both of those racks he was threatening real bingos, but you did give
Oh,
him
really?
headroom. Well, yeah, he had headroom through
Oh,
that
headroom,
A.
yeah,
Um,
right.
so if he had played that, we would have been like, oh, what a mastermind by Steve to bait that A out. But then he pulled
Right.
off that same gambit later in the game, so
Yeah,
he was everything we
this
thought he was.
Yeah, this enyoked into unyoked sequence just about broke my brain completely. So that was amazing. And then, of course, you were able to. Amazingly, the crazy thing about this is there are no bingos available on the turn when you just fished your eye with DI. Can you believe that?
Okay. No, can't. I cannot.
Yeah,
Um,
amazing.
so did I give him a U? Is that what the heck?
No,
I don't even know.
you
Okay.
you just gave him a so if you can see the board, you just played
Oh, yeah, he had.
DI here, and
Oh,
he
okay, right.
had
His
the
his
U.
rack was unyoked. Okay, right,
Yes,
got it.
the only tile you didn't see on his previous play
Right,
was the U,
right.
and that was the only other tile he probably could have had that would have allowed him to bingo, other than I guess donkeys. So he played the letters for donkey. So yeah, I mean, I think you're perfectly justified in opening a new lane.
Yeah.
So yeah, it made total sense. Dilate was great. And yeah, only better thing again would have been something like Aridist. I guess,
I wish I had seen that. I really wanted to see that. Like I was trying so hard, but I just my brain doing it.
yeah. Other idea there could maybe literally have been just don't bingo and play Tad, because if you just draw anything from the bag, you're still going to bingo and you block his ability to play something with OX in that spot. But yeah,
Hmm.
I think bingoing there makes sense. You drew the the O, and ended up winning. So that's it. You're at the finish line.
Don't
Um,
look for Aridus. Matthew said.
yeah, Matthew wants you. Matthew loves nothing more than burning the blank on non bingos and not bingoing when you have a bingo. So that's like lighting up his brain all the way. But yeah, it's all good. So that's it. We're at the finish line. It's been a ton of fun. Overall, you gained 22 rating points, but I feel like
Oh, really?
you were on the cusp of doing much better even than that, and just got hosed in a couple games on the final day. So I feel like, how are you feeling about your performance?
I feel pretty good. Like I was saying that I really thought I was gonna cash a class prize, and then yeah, after this day, it was just like, okay, obviously not. But I felt like overall, like you said, I felt like I was playing pretty well overall, and yeah, in those cases, I usually have a good chance of cashing. But yeah, just today went awry.
Yeah, next time could definitely be better. So that's it. I guess any final thoughts from the chat that you want to express to Heidi? I'll just say that it's been fantastic. I've had so much fun, providing some of the commentary. I hope this becomes more normalized. I really feel like, as Matthew is saying in the chat, it's actually a really cool addition to our board one focused style of streaming. And I just want to say a huge thank you to Jason Nadolski and Brian Garnett,
Yes,
and of course to you as well, Matthew. Thank you so much for
yes,
hopping on and doing some games with me today.
I'm
Yeah, it was
super
fun.
thrilled that I got. Oh, sorry, go Matthew.
I said I had fun, and I probably owe you this favor, so I'm glad it worked out.
Nice.
He says he says that, but like he drives me to club all the time and home from club, and so yeah, if anything, I owe him. But really appreciate it. Super thrilled to have you. Like I feel like that is the biggest coup. ever to get you on stream commenting, and I'm sure it's brilliant. It's brilliant, I'm sure. I can't wait to watch it. I wanted to say that I'm really glad that that last game was close, just like I wanted. Wasn't a bagging on either end. So that was fun. And yeah, just once again, thanks, Will. I mean, you were here like the whole time, so obviously that's a huge commitment. Thank you so much for that. Thanks to Jason Odelsky. Thanks to Brian Garnett. Thank you, Matthew. Love you all. And I love all of you guys watching. Thank you so much for being here.
All right, couldn't have said it better myself. So there you have it. This is Harrow into Birds POV of Niagara Falls. Congratulations also to Jason Keller on an absolutely dominating win in the top division. And I guess that's it. So for all of us here, bye everybody. It was a lot of fun. See you on a stream sometime in the future.